Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Knowmads podcast. I'm your co-host Prachi.
And I'm your co-host Bhavya.
A lot of students all around the world leave their home country and move to another country to pursue higher education. We often talk about their learnings and successes, but in reality, what goes behind all that enlightenment is mostly never talked about. Our guest today has a PhD in physics who left his country and his family in Nepal to pursue his career in the States. Even though his journey was not ideal, his sanguine nature led him to where he is now.
Bikash, Panthi, welcome to the Knowmads podcast.
Thank you.
First of all, congratulations on defending your PhD thesis and becoming a doctor.
Thank you.
All of us are really proud.
Thank you.
What's your headspace and how do you feel?
Right now, it feels like my head is full of space. Like literally, a huge stone has been removed from my head because I have the degree now, right? And I have ambitions for my futures. There is going to be like, you're worried about something, but this feeling of being done with something that you invested your 5 years of your life, you traveled across the world to get that degree. And, like mountains and oceans, like just like in literature, how they describe that is the feeling I have, like, okay, I'm done. I'm seriously done. Yeah. It feels very good. It feels very good to be relieved, not to worry about, the degree. The research I'm going to continue too, but it feels good. Yeah.
Feels good.
Yeah.
So you spent major part of your PhD working in MD Anderson.
Yes.
How does a physics PhD land in a cancer research institute?
Okay. This might be a very interesting story because I remember that. So first of all, I started looking for opportunities at MD Anderson because I was having some problem at the university, right? Regarding when do I need to have an advisor fixed, or like, will I be supported through assistancy programs at the university or not? That's when I had to, I had to find somebody. And then I started looking at the opportunities outside university. Then I found out we had some seniors who were working at MD Anderson, right? And then I went through their website, looked for a few advisors. I shortlisted 3 of them. I emailed 2 of them, got response from 1 of them, scheduled a meeting a week after that email, and then had an interview.
Right.
And in the interview, I had never done biology classes except after my grade 12, like high school, right? And then, but biology was always my favorite subject. But then the lab that I landed up used mostly computationals and like deep learning, machine learning.
Right.
I did not have experience on that either. I was just starting to learn Python. They use a MATLAB mostly. I hadn't done that. I think it was more about how much interest I showed on the topic that I got selected to the lab. I told the advisor, hey, I don't know how to use Python. I'm learning it. I have never used MATLAB. I don't have much computational experience. I did something in my master's, but not much experience. I do not know anything about cancer, but I find this field very interesting. It is related to medical sciences, and MRI could be, so it is mostly the MRI physics work, right? And I told him like MRI could be something that's like hugely related with physics. Like it's basically based on physics while you are trying to explore biology, right? And then I think he appreciated my honesty about I'll need some time to learn these stuff, like the coding stuff and the biology, the cancer. I'm ready to take classes that needs to be done, but I'm interested in this field. And there was a personal story of my side also that I lost somebody to cancer beforehand. And then I think he appreciated what I told him. And based on that, he was like, yeah, I'm okay as long as you are willing to learn and as long as you are willing to put on effort. I think that's how I landed up there. Yeah. It's a very strange, and right now also I feel like, how did I even get selected for that? And without any experience, because it was pretty cool. I think the stars aligned. Yeah. So okay. So I like to give reference of the movies and like these mythics, even something that I might not actually believe in. It feels good to connect it to like this. I said like stars aligned, right? I don't know if I believe in fate or not at this point, but like it that's my habit. So yeah.
It's That's nice.
That's how it is.
So you mentioned you already had an interest in biology.
Yeah.
So was MD Anderson already something in your mind before coming to Houston, or was it like an opportunity that came here?
No. Okay. So biology was my favorite subject forever. There was a time point in my life when I wanted to be a medical doctor, like literally a medical doctor. There were some issues I could not make it, and I tried, but then I didn't receive scholarships and all, and I was not ready to pay for all the cost that needed to be. So for MD Anderson, no, I never thought of working at MD Anderson or like continuing my interest in biology as my career. Never. After my undergrad, it was only like physics. I did my master's in physics, and it was physics. When so one of the reason I came to University of Houston was the Texas Center for Superconductivity, right? Yeah. My master's research was on condensed matter physics. Okay. That research did use some information on chemistry as well. It was a physics course. Chemistry was highly related and had applications on biology too. It was there, but like no, biology was not the major aspect of it, right? And then I applied to universities, some of them, and then got accepted later. And then while I chose, Texas was a major thing why I accepted that offer, right? But then when I came, I was interested in superconductivity. Obviously, I still am. I have interest on semiconductors. Semiconductors mostly because of their usefulness. Like it's not a new topic or like very exciting one, but like everything uses semiconductors, and that kind of impresses me. But superconductor, it's like it's a new thing. Like it's not a new thing in terms of the time span when they have been talking about, but like the applicability, we could have many new usefulness like applications. Like I was interested in that, but then things didn't work out. I was in my first year while I was still trying labs, trying to understand if that could be my career goal and stuff like that. But then suddenly we were kind of forced to have an advisor immediately. And then at that point, I was kind of done with my university, if that is the right word to say. Like, I'm done with University of Houston at this point. I want to leave. Like, that is also like, people question their choices. Like, people question about continuing their education because it's hard to do research. It's difficult to study. That was never my case, I think. I felt like I was not treated well. Like, that's the feeling you have, right? I felt like I was not treated well by the university, and I was maybe about to leave the university or transfer to somewhere else, or even go back to Nepal. But then my classmates, even some of the professors at University of Houston, they were very nice to me. They were like, you can do this. Like, we know your potential. You should be doing this. Do not give up right now. There are opportunities outside University of Houston. You can do that too. That is when I started looking for the places and found about MD Anderson. And literally, like, I sent emails to 3 advisors on the same day, got response from one of those. No, I sent email to 2 advisors actually. Shortlisted 3, sent emails to 2, and then heard back from 1, and I got into that lab. And that's, it feels surreal right now with the background I had,
So in retrospect, when you think about this journey, you talked about, stars aligning and you feeling surreal about this. What do you think, how much your own flexibility played a role in this, and how do you think how flexible should current graduate students be in choosing their interests?
Okay, one thing I have learned throughout the grad school is like, PhD, it is good. Like, it is wonderful if you can work in the field that you absolutely love. But having an advisor who understands where the students are coming from, like how they are going, what they are going through, how they feel, is very important for your career, or even for your grad school research and all that. If you have an advisor who's like very strict, not lenient on things here and there, might be difficult. Right? For me, the kind of culture I grew up is like your advisors, your professors, and you are not on the same level. They are like higher up above than you, which is not exactly the same here. Here, everybody likes to be treated as equal. Even the advisors are like, we are same now. We are more of a colleagues than advisors and a student. But that is not how I grew up. So here, being lenient, being flexible, I think it's more on the student side. That is how I looked, right? And then I was okay with the work I had to do. I mean, I didn't have to be supported as an RA or whatever. As long as I was supported in some form, I'd be okay. But that side I was lenient on. But going to a lab that I did not have any interest on, I don't think I was ever lenient on that. I was not flexible on that. I was like, okay, ask me to do TA for my entire, PhD era, entire years. I'll do it without complaining. Like I never minded that. But like, don't ask me to go and join a lab just because that advisor has grants and funds, while I absolutely do not want to work on that. But thinking right now, to the new students who are joining the grad school, I'll be like, if you know that advisor is someone that you can click with, if you know that advisor is not just a good mentor or an advisor, but also a good human being,
Okay.
go for it.
Okay.
Because no matter what projects you are working on, you will learn things that are going to be useful in future, whatever your career goals is. Obviously, like, let's say I do my PhD in condensed matter physics, I might not be able to go in a field that's quantum based, like, computational physics, stuff like that. Keeping that in mind, if it is like, there are common things that go around in every research project. That's how I feel. So yeah, find a good advisor who is a good human being. That's what I would say.
Yeah, that's very good. That's a great advice.
That's well said.
Because for PhD, it's not a single year, right? It's like 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, sometimes 6 years, sometimes 7 year.
Yeah.
You need to, most of the time our advisors will be experienced. They know where the students are coming from. They have a habit of working with diverse background people. They would be understanding, but not everybody is. And sometimes they are like, leave your personal problems at home. Once you enter here, there is no room for it. While some of the advisor will be, I know you are going through this struggle, but this is also important. If you can try to manage this in a better way, or if I can assist you in somehow to deal with other problems so that you can perform well here, I would choose the second advisor, obviously, right? Because there are things that are beyond your control. Like, especially for someone who comes from a completely different cultural background, there are many instances where you feel like giving up. You need an advisor to be there and saying, hey, what you're doing is good. Even if it is not good, it could be like, hey, I am sure you can do better than this. Do not give up. Like, and those things matter. So choose an advisor who has a good heart.
Yeah.
Money is important, right? The advisor needs to support you, but if you have some other way of supporting you, definitely go for an advisor who will treat you as a human,
That's nice. That's nice. So, Bikash, before coming here, and a lot of people still have this idea that the hardest part of this journey is to get accepted and find a group that you're interested in. And obviously, like, after coming back, this notion has changed for me a bit. But how was it for you? What do you think is the hardest part of this journey?
Everything. Like, okay, so I am not a guy who's super thing. I am not gonna be sitting here and saying like, oh, this was easy for me. The courses were easy. The research was easy. The advice was easy. Not a single day was easy for me, I tell you. But then within those days, you have to find something that will motivate you for the next day, right? Every day, at least it was for me, and more. The people who know me know that I'm constantly worried about things. Even when I have accomplished something, I would immediately start worrying about my future or like something else. That is a very bad habit for somebody who is going through grad school. For anybody, I think you should know when to, take some time, understand what you have achieved and like celebrate it. But I get stressed when I'm not stressed. Like, why am I not stressed today? That's the kind of person I am, right? So, but then I think, for me, it was particularly stressful or hard to get into the university also, I feel like. Because my parents, my family, my relatives, they did not want me to leave Nepal in first place.
Oh.
My parents. I did my... I did my GRE, I did my TOEFL, I applied to the universities, I even did the visa interview, and nobody from my family knew it.
Oh.
Nobody, like not even my sisters. So initially, while I was in my undergrad, I think I had mentioned this to my family that I want to go out to do a PhD. Like now, since I'm not going into a medical field, I think I'd at least want to do PhD research. That would be like, the final academic degree that you can achieve. And I think I see that me doing a PhD. That was the thing. And I don't know, for some reason, I never even explored the possibility of me doing PhD in Nepal. I always was like, I'm going to go out and do PhD. I want to see the world and, how things are. Okay, I don't know if it is same in India and other South Asian country, but we keep on complaining about the education system in Nepal. While we are in Nepal, we complain, like, this is not going good, this is not going good. And I was like, I want to see outside too. Like, let's see what is this hype about.
Let's see what's not going good there.
That was in undergrad. My parents, everybody was fine about me leaving the country and all that. And it was, I think, the second year of my master's degree. I was already earning well. Like for a student in Nepal, I was doing actually well. Like it was very good. And my parents were like, you are doing very well. Even in terms of financial, you have been doing like full-time courses, morning 9 to evening 5, while home tutoring like 10 to 13 houses every single day. I have taught in school. I worked as a lab assistant in a college. I tutored so many students, and I was earning pretty well. Okay, let's keep it there. And so they were like, once you graduate with masters, you will have more opportunities. You will have more time. You can do things well here. You don't need to go out. Or even maybe like do it. If you really want to do PhD, maybe why don't you do it here? They were there were those questions, and I also know why they were saying that. They were worried that I will not return back to Nepal once I leave. And that's what we see in some international students. Like they find a job here, they see better opportunities and settle down here. My parents didn't want that to happen. And I did not want to go through the discussion initially, right? And I was like, we'll see, because you don't even know if you will be accepted. For me, I have this syndrome where I feel like I am the least qualified among group of people everywhere. In a classroom, in the field, while I'm playing, while I'm doing work, it feels like I am the person who has least amount of knowledge, and self-doubts, I guess that's the better way of saying. Like I always doubted myself, and we were not even sure if I could do well in TOEFL. That first thing we need to do, GRE, right? Those are tough courses. I didn't even look. And then you don't know if you will be accepted to even one university, right? So I thought, let me apply. And I had money to do this. So there was not a need of like, hey, can you help me for the money to apply? It was quite expensive for me coming from Nepal to apply to do GRE, TOEFL and all that. But since I was working for a long time, I had saved some money and I did that. And then the most difficult part for me was telling my parents, hey, I got the visa. Now, I got the visa doesn't mean I'm leaving right now, but we have to have a discussion. And I should tell you, this was the first time I kind of did something that my parents didn't want to. The first time in my entire life. Wow. Okay, I have always been the guy who listens to parents. Not a rebel, never a rebel. never a rebel. My parents said something, you should do this, I'll do it. And if that makes you happy, I'll do it. Like that's the kind of guy I am. And then the most hard part was telling my parents, I got the visa. I told my sisters before attending the visa that I'm getting offers, but let's keep it right there. We don't even know if my visa interview will go well. Right. And there is a high rate of rejection even in visa interviews in Nepal. So I got the visa. I called them, said, hey, I got the visa. Now we got to talk. And they were sad. They were not mad at me. They were not angry at me, but they were sad that we are going to lose our son. And I told them, I'm going to come back within a month I graduate. I told them, we had this. I promised them. And this changed. We'll talk about later why it changed and without me breaking that promise. But I told them, and later they were like, okay, this is what you have wanted. We do have realized that this is what you have always wanted to do. I remember you talking about doing a PhD. You wanted to have the degree. You wanted to learn things. You wanted to see places and people. And they were like, okay, go. But remember your promise. Do not forget, like, you have family here and stuff like that, right? That was the first hard conversation I had with my parents. I came here, and then the other, like, doing courses, I mean, the courses are difficult, right? I mean, every field, arts, humanities, management, wherever you go, if you have to study something, it's definitely a hard thing. If you have to take exams for something, it's a hard thing. If you are under pressure that you have to perform well, it's a hard thing again, right? So the courses were difficult. Every classes, I think I have told every professor, oh my God, this is so hard. But then at the same time, I'll tell them, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
Right? That is how I kept on going. I remember conversation with our StatMech professor. Every time he gave us homework, I'm like, oh my God, these homeworks are so difficult, but I enjoy doing them. Like, he knows me for that. I think he knows me for that too. Like I was like, I stayed whole night doing this, but at this point I feel accomplished that I was able to do it like that. So the studying part is also hard. It's not easy, but I think you just need to find motivation to do it. Finding an advisor, that's the... for finding an advisor, it could be easy for someone who is in like already in a mental space that I absolutely want to do this. It is this or it is not. But then at that point, it's a risk that you might have to leave the the place. You might not get a position in that lab as well, right? So that is also hard. And then getting financially supported. Grad school is not cheap, obviously, like not cheap. At least for me, it was not cheap. If it is like $10,000 a semester, there is no way I am gonna afford it. Like, if I had not received the full scholarship, I would not have been here. I wouldn't have come here for sure. Right. And then that part is also hard. And what else? Doing research is also hard, but like, I don't think I ever complained about the doing research part, not getting results being hard, because that is what I signed up for. And I was kind of mentally prepared for the courses that were hard and the research that was hard. So yeah, pleasing your advisor could be hard at times, right? You know, sometimes you're like, I wish my advisor would see how much I'm doing and maybe like, appreciate it. Like that every once in a while you want those words of, affirmation that what you're doing is good. It's okay. Don't worry. Or like, hey, great job on this. Everything is hard. Nothing is easy, but you can do it. That's how it is. Like,
That's nice.
That's how it is.
Well, the grad school would definitely not believe that you're not a rebel. The story. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But okay, before we move on, for our listeners, you mentioned a few incidents when you came here that that you wanted people to kind of support you. Do you want to talk about maybe one of those incidents for the listeners, so that international students know what to expect? They will be experiencing different things, but they would know what you experience.
So if we talk about being an international student here, everybody has their own journey, and I had a different one too, and I guess I can overlap with almost 80% of what all the international students go through. There are a few things that I need to mention that are completely different from what other international students would go through. First of all, I was privileged to have my cousin in Houston, right? His entire family is here. And so when I flew from Nepal, I didn't have to worry, where am I going to stay? There are Nepalese groups, Nepalese societies, friends. You will always have somebody to help you. But going from a family to a family, I was not worried about, how am I going to support in months where I cannot? Because I knew my cousin would help me. And with our upbringing, with our culture, you help your family no matter what. Yes. I am so grateful for my cousin's family being here, him, his wife, my sister-in-law, and the kids. Oh my God, the adorable kids. I love kids, by the way. So for me, it was less concerning about going to a new place, how I'm going to adjust to this place, how will I learn what to do, what not to do, is because they have been very helpful. I came to their house, stayed with them for years before moving out while I was in my 4th year, I think. I stayed with them for 3 years or more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this will be different for international students. I know the struggle of not having anybody here. I know what you have to go through, but I don't think I am in the position to comment on that because I didn't have to do it. And there was somebody right behind me. If I needed to ask something, I could turn behind and say, hey, how do I do this? I'm struggling. They could do that. So that part I was privileged, very, very privileged. Okay. And I don't know if everyone else's cousins are so supportive, but mine was. Okay. So his entire family, even my sister-in-law, she took me as a brother. She was very caring. They drove me to the university and picked me up for first 2 or 3 months because I didn't have my driver's license back then. Like every single day.
Okay.
My sister-in-law would go to her office. Her office started at 7. So she would take me and drop me to university at 6 a.m.
Wow.
I'd stay until my classes started, go to the library, study. It was not, she would drop me off and then go to her office. And in the evening, before picking up the kids, either my cousin will pick me up or she would pick me up. Like, so they went through a trouble just to make sure I am comfortable. So, you know, I am going to be grateful for them for my entire life. And then that part is there. And the one different thing is, for international student, we are not allowed to work outside the university.
Yes.
Right? For me, my entire research was outside the university, right? So every semester I had to go through additional documentations and work authorization stuff. It took lots of energy for at least first few years, like at least 1 or 2 years to get a hang of it, like how to go through the channel, what do I need to things to be done in time and stuff like that. So I think very few international students have to go through this, and you could focus that energy on research or something else, or even like that time on your hobbies and stuff like that. So these two things, I think they're like completely different. Other than that, the struggle of being away from home, you know, this constant worrying about is your family doing well back, if somebody's ill, and that part I think everybody will be the same. So I lost my father while I was doing my PhD. So at that point, my cousin, they helped a lot, but that is like, you know, you expect people, or you would love people to be supportive when you are at your worst space. I think when you are doing good, even if nobody cares about you, you don't mind that much. You understand that everybody is busy, everybody has their own life and stuff. But when you are really struggling with something, that's when you really want support from, right? And that time also, the instance that I might be helpful for international students to know is like, I was having struggle in our department. Okay, so there were some rules. So I don't want to put it wrongly, but there were rules that were kind of modified in between my course. After I was accepted, after I started the course, I think there were some rules that were modified, and that modifications were imposed immediately, saying like, okay, it's gonna work from right now. It was not like we are gonna have these modifications apply for newcomers and stuff. It was implied, and that kind of affected my plans of, you know, joining the lab. It was the first summer, I think. After first year, I was doing my courses for the first year. I wanted to focus on those because those were our qualifiers. And then the first summer, we still had 1 more year to find an advisor. That was our impression in the beginning. But in the first summer, I joined a lab. I was very interested in that lab. Like, I still find the projects that go in that lab very fascinating, interesting. I was interested in that too. It again had physics and biology combined, right? That lab. And then I was interested in it. But as time went through, in the middle of summer, we had this thing from the department saying, hey, you have to have an advisor fixed before the start of the summer. Okay, for summer. But I had not. I was like, I have a year, I'm going to rotate around, with the labs. I'm going to talk to advisors and then decide which lab I can fit in. I didn't have to worry about being supported because I was getting TA, like teaching assistantship, and I was happy doing that. Like, it was work, obviously, but it was not too bad. There was, and I was not privileged enough to complain. Like, if I did not want to work, I would have to support myself. I'd rather work and get support, right? That was my position. So I was not working. And then that summer, this rule came out, right? And then there was a huge issue, right? Huge issue with the I was having meetings with our chair of the department, I think like 10 meetings within a week or something like that.
Oh man.
Like talking about, and at one point I was like, I am not gonna be treated like this. I was accepted into all the universities I applied to. I mean, I'm not gonna be like, oh, those were like the top ranked universities, but whatever I thought fitted me, they accepted me, and I had choice. And I was thinking of maybe transferring, but I could not bear how things were going on. And then we had, okay, I think I should take her name. I think you guys, or not, I think you guys also know Dr. Ratty, Dr. Claudia Ratty. I mean, I had a meeting with her once or twice. The way she spoke to me, oh my God. Like, I am going to remember her forever. the way she spoke to me, she made me calm down, first of all. I think I definitely needed to calm down first. She made me calm down. She talked about, she first acknowledged that what was happening was wrong. Right? Like, it was difficult. I think, no, I'm not going to say like she acknowledged it was wrong, but she acknowledged that it was difficult time. It is difficult for all the international students to not have that surety that you are going to be supported through the next semester, right? She acknowledged that, and then she kind of, gave me that hope that even with this difficult thing that's going around, I could still find somebody to support me. I should still try. I remember her. I remember our classmates. Oh my God. Okay. Again, one good thing that I got from University of Houston was my classmates. Every single one of them. I tell you, I don't know if it's same with your batch, but our batch, we would stay like till 3 a.m. studying together.
Wow.
Or partying together. Or working together. And like at that point, everybody was like, hey, Bikash, we know you work hard. Whether they meant it or not, I don't know, but they said that. And that affected me. Like, we know you work hard. You can do it. We are ready to collect money among us to support you through a semester or so until you have an advisor who can support you.
Wow.
Who says that? And they said that in front of the chair of our department.
Wow.
Chair and other professors were also there. I don't exactly remember their position in the department. That's why I'm not saying it, but the chair was there. They said, hey, we can collect money to get you through this department. And then it suddenly clicked, like, if these people whom you have spent just a year in classroom as classmates are saying this for you, you definitely cannot run away from this situation. Absolutely. I could not do that to anybody. Like, I fight with them. I fight with my classmates. I give mean comments once in a while. But I also appreciate them, like their presence, right? And yeah, I was privileged to have that class batch, of students, because when I was talking to my fellow students from Nepal who came to United States in different universities, they would be like, oh, the study environment is completely different. I go to my classroom, I take class, I come out, I don't even speak to one person. Nobody does. And I was like surprised. That's not how we are in our class. Like, we shout, we cry, we do everything together, like in school, school classmates. Like, you work together, you study together, you complain about things together, and then you support each other at the same. And so a few professors at University of Houston and my classmates, they made me, clear everything and reach where I am today.
That's
so nice.
That's very, very, that's very reassuring in the sense that it's, your PhD is a lot about your cohort, and you had that privilege. So that's
I had
great.
privilege. Yeah, I say it as a privilege because not every university has similar environment. Not every batchmates are same, and it was good. These are the things that I kind of feel good about, and yeah.
So you briefly mentioned while you were talking about your journey that while you were struggling. So my question is that during your journey, was there a point where you felt like giving up and you thought that it's not worth it?
Yeah. Okay. So if right now, after being done, I'm questioning if it was worth it. This might come across as a surprise for everyone because I'm done at this point, and I acknowledge that it feels very light, very free. Like, it feels like, okay, I have accomplished something. I have the highest degree in academia I could ever get. I am happy about it. And I am not going to undermine my work as well, because I am very happy with the work I did, and I hope it will help this field at some instance of time, and I'm happy about that. But considering the thing that I had to go through, that I gave up on the way, I left my country, I left my entire life behind and came here for a degree, and right now I don't know if it was worth it. Like, there are reasons why I have those questions, but then I don't know. But if we talk about the journey where I thought maybe I should give up, or maybe I should try again or try somewhere else, it was once this incident where I was not sure if I would be supported through the semester after it was like the first year summer, and then where there were a question about whether I'll have financial support in the coming semesters, I really felt like I was not being treated well. Maybe it was not true. Maybe I was being treated as every other student was. I don't know that part, right? Maybe I was. Maybe if we talk to the department, if we talk to the university, they would be like, no, all the students have to go through it. It's how you are, but I guess you just couldn't deal with it. It could have happened. But from my perspective, I was not being treated the way I should be. I should have been treated. From the department, that point, I was like, this is not worth it. This is not why I went against my parents for, or like, this is not why I took this decision of pursuing a PhD in United States. Like, when you made that decision with which not everybody was happy, and then you feel that like that, you obviously question your choices, and that I questioned it. And that was one point when I questioned it. And the other time I felt like giving up and running back to my country was when I lost my father. One of the reasons why I don't feel like my degree was worth everything that I gave up is I lost my father. It was in 2020, July. It was during the COVID, but it was not because of COVID. It was some other issues. He was 60 years old, not like, too old and all that. That time I struggled a lot. I was questioning myself. I mean, I knew that it was not on my hands to save him, or like it was not my fault. Like it would have happened either way or whatever. But the things got worsened because I could not go back even to attend his funeral. It was not any other reason. It was because of the COVID. There were no flights at all.
Yeah.
No flights at all. Right before my father passed away, there were a few chartered flights, but I didn't feel the need to go immediately. I was here like working and all that. But then he passed away, and I belong to a typical South Asian Nepali Hindu family. I am the eldest son. I have my sisters who are older than me, but the son I am. And you have a responsibility that you carry out as a son. I mean, I don't want to be like, sexist or saying like a son or daughter, but then there are things that you do that your sisters don't. There are things that your sisters do that you don't. And not being able to see my father at his last days, not being able to do those rites and rituals that you were supposed to do in the first place. I mean, it doesn't mean that I didn't do it so nobody else did it. They did it, but like, deep inside within yourself, you have this kind of regret that something, like it was my right to do that for my parents, and it was taken away from me, right? One of the major issues. And then I don't think nothing would be worth that, like not having to being able to go back to Nepal doing that funeral, and then not being with your mom, who definitely would struggle because she lost her lifelong partner, right? Yes. She would struggle. And I was not, I questioned a lot. I thought, I don't think I talked to my mom for a month after I lost my father. We have like different sets of rituals that we do. We use generally do not touch anyone throughout the funeral era, like 13 days. You wear whites for a year, white clothes only, white shoes, everything for a year if you are doing the complete traditional thing. But I didn't do that. For 13 days, you are not supposed to touch anybody. You are not supposed to eat food cooked by others and stuff like that. And I didn't talk to my mom for like a month. And it was difficult point. It was very, very difficult. And at that point, I was starting to think about the treatment I was receiving at my university as well, right? It was like a year after I joined MD Anderson, I think. Not a year, I think a semester after I joined MD Anderson. A semester, I think. And then you think like, maybe this is not meant for me. Like, I was already not happy with my university. And then I lost my father, whom I promised I would be back as soon as I'm done with the PhD. And like, I literally promised that I'll be back. And then it somehow felt like I would never be able to keep that promise anymore, and then you always have these things of, I want to do this for my parents. At least I had it. Like once I'm able to do it, I want to do this for my dad, do this for my mom. I want to, take them to visit this place. And now everything was gone. Like
Yeah.
literally every single thing was gone. I did not see any worth in my studies, any worth in job, I guess. Yeah, that was other point I really, really struggled. And, within a month I was starting to talk about maybe I want to go back. My advisors were supportive at that point, both the advisor at University of Houston and MD Anderson. They were very supportive. They let me take some time. They let me do the funeral rites here itself. Like whatever I could do from here, I did from here.
Wow.
They let me take 15 days off. I think they would have let me take a longer period off also, but 13 days were required. There was no way I could do anything in those 13 days. They let me take that time off. They were constantly checking up on me. And that part was good, but like it was within myself, the guilt within myself of not being there. And I still regret that though. Like I still regret coming to United States for that reason. There are other reasons that I regret, but then sometimes I console myself saying, hey, no, it's just a difficult time. But this part, I don't think it will ever go away. I just have to learn to live with it, right? So yeah, these two instances, I really questioned whether I should continue my studies. But then when I talked to my mom, she was, I don't know how mothers can do that. Like, I don't know, she was like, no, I'm fine. And my sisters are also scattered all over the world. And one of my sisters is in India, my eldest one. And she said, I'll stay with mom for at least 4 or 5 months. You don't have to worry here. You focus on your work. And my mom is like, yeah, your sister is going to stay here for a few months. And then by that time, I think I'll be stronger and I'll be able to cope it. So do not even think of giving it up. I don't know how she did that. I don't know how she said that. I was weaker than my mom. I tell you, like, I guess that's what it means to be a parent, that you have to be stronger for your children no matter what. And after that, I don't think I ever questioned continuing the PhD or leaving the PhD, because as I said, the difficulties of doing the research, I was ready for it. I knew it was not going to be easy, but the other problems, and my sisters always supported me through it, however they could, they were always motivating. They were taking turns taking care of my mom. And I went to Nepal after a year of my father's passing, and we have these rituals. We do the first 13 days continuously, and then on the 15th day, 45th day, on the 6th month, on the year, and then twice a year after that. We have rituals and all that. I went there for the first year's yearly ritual. That is a huge deal too. I'm glad I was there. And that is when I had this conversation with mom again about, hey, no, I am going to take maybe 2 years more. I'll finish it, and within a month I'll be back, and then we'll figure it out. I'll find a job. Doesn't matter if it is well paying, as long as we can go well, it will be okay. And then suddenly she comes across and says, hey, no, don't do that. Don't say that. If you really feel like there will be opportunities that are equivalent to your goals or your qualifications, and you really think you want to come back and do things here, it's okay. You can come back. There is nothing that's going to stop you. But you have to remember that you will have more responsibilities now, since you don't have your father. The entire family would kind of depend on you at this point. So be prepared for that. And regarding me, I'm okay with living here alone. I'm not okay with my mom being alone right now. Every single day I'm worried about her. But the way she talks to me, it's always consoling, and I'm okay, I can do. But if you feel like you'll have better opportunities there for working, maybe even few years of work there and then come back, you should do it. And that's how things went away. And now I'm sitting here after a month of graduation, almost a month of graduation, right? Otherwise, I'd have been back to Nepal by now. So yeah, that's crazy.
That's some journey.
I wish nobody has to go through this. At least losing somebody that is very close to you, especially your parents. I guess it's the similar feeling when you lose somebody, even your friends and all that, but not your parents. Please, no, nobody. That's why I don't even, at this point, I don't even recommend anybody for going to PhD. Seriously, that's how it affected me. I'm like, okay, why do you want to do PhD? Think of it first. If you want to do it because you cannot see anything else apart from PhD, maybe okay, then go do PhD. And then if you think like only PhD is something that can fill your, hunger, then okay, go do for it. But if you think like you want to do PhD because you want to learn things and like it will help you in your career, it will, those things are important too. I'm not trying to say that, but that is at stake for PhD, measure that. Do you really have to be so far away from your parents? Or like, if you are close to them, obviously, like, if you are looking for freedom and all that, it might be different for someone else.
Yeah.
But for me, my happiness, my fulfillment comes when I can make my family happy. That has always been like that. So it was especially difficult for me. So yeah, compare what is at stake. And then it's like 5 years of your life, like most probably
it's a lot.
most productive,
Yes.
or like the time when you're most energetic, filled with most enthusiasm,
That's right.
So yeah, right now I do not, previously I used to be like, everybody should, you should study is very important, you should do it, like if you want to do undergrad, yes please, why not do it, like no matter what the cost is, go do your undergrad. And then if somebody's like, I'm thinking of doing my master's, maybe I should, I'm like, oh no, if you are thinking even a bit, just go do it. You need to do it, like education is very important, you should do your graduate. And then somebody talk PhD, I am thinking of doing a PhD, should I do it, should I not? I was like, sure, like if you are thinking, that's very good, go do it. And right now I am at this position saying, still I'm not be like, hey, telling the school children that, hey, you don't need to do it if you don't want it. No, I'm not. Right now my mind space is like, get an undergrad done. After undergrad, you decide, you do check and balances, and like you see what you want to lose on the way. You cannot have everything at the same point, and then evaluate what you want to do. Like undergrad, I still feel like everybody should go through undergrads at least. I don't know. But above that, you should weigh how you feel. Because I mean, I see your guests before me, right? They went to work, jobs, and then came back to graduate school. I guess it was a passion that brought them back. But definitely they had to juggle through what they are going to miss out, what they are going to achieve, and then grad school weighed more for them, right? And it was quite inspiring to hear that too. So it's on you. Get your undergrad. After that, think twice, thrice before deciding. That's my headspace right now.
That's a nice way to put things.
Yeah.
So we were talking about how important it is to every day always feel that there should be something that's motivating you.
Yeah.
We talk about maintaining a work-life balance, and obviously a major role in that plays what our mental health is.
Yeah.
How are we feeling things? And I mean, how do you feel about it? Do you think it came naturally to you?
Guys, okay. I guess I am good at giving wrong impressions to people. People who know me slightly, they think I'm a very jolly guy, friendly with everyone, likes to talk about things. No, I'm not. Oh my God. I still haven't learned how to do work-life balance. I have to maintain it. I never did. I am always anxious. I'm always worried about things. After my father died, I think maybe I was affected with that too. After my father died, until the day I graduated, I was not getting sleep more than 4 hours a night. Not a single night. That was maximum 4 hours. Like there were nights where I would not sleep at all. There were nights where I would sleep only 2 hours. The good thing about my body, I don't know how it handled it, was like the next day nobody could tell that I hadn't slept. I hadn't slept. Like I would have the same energy. I'd have the same face. I'd talk with everybody the same way. Nobody would realize this guy hadn't slept. And somehow it was not affecting any of my work, I felt. So it was not very troublesome to me. But work-life balance, no, I am very bad at that. I was very bad at it. I'm trying now. But then again, grad school, work-life balance, if you can maintain that, hats off to you guys. Like whoever can do that, hats off. Because it's not like, it's 6 p.m. I got to turn my book off. I got to shut my computer down and, go do something that I want to do, go for a walk or whatever. No, it was never like that for me. I had worked like all-nighters continuously for 2 or 3 nights, continuously for my research as well. And That was terrible. I know I was doing wrong with myself. I know, I realized that. But for me, if I want to have a good night's sleep, even when my headspace is kind, cool, there's nothing else to worry about, I cannot leave anything pending for tomorrow. Always like that. If I have something, let's say I had to write a 5-page article, let's say. I wrote 4.999 pages of it. There is a portion of it. Let's say I just have to add acknowledgement sentence at the end of that article. If I go to bed without writing that article, I will have nightmares about it. I will see things like I turned it in without writing that one sentence and people are complaining about it. Or like in the morning, I sit down to write it and then your computer is not working suddenly today. If it was in computer, if you're writing on a paper, it's like you cannot find the pen or like, seriously, it's funny, but those are my actual dreams and nightmares that I go through. And and grad school, do you have a single day where you can go to bed thinking, oh, I have done all my work? No, right? I think it's so that was terrible. Also, there is another very bad, poor habit of me is like I cannot go to bed the night before my exams, no matter how easy my exams is.
Oh, so you
I
don't
cannot go to bed the night before. If my exams are continuously today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 3 days, 4 days, I will not sleep for those 5 days.
Oh my goodness.
And I know it will sound very troublesome to somebody, very unhealthy. It is unhealthy. I know it is, but like I'm helpless and I never tried anything. But now I don't have any more exams. So that's one feeling. But the fear I used to have was if I go to bed, everything is gonna wiped out of my head, and tomorrow morning I'll have to restart it. So I wouldn't go to bed. I'll keep on revising continuously throughout the night. Go write my exams. That's how it was since grade 9. It is not like a newborn.
Okay.
Grade 9, I'd never go to bed. And if for some reason, let's say for some reason, today I decided tomorrow is a very easy exam, like, very easy one. I know stuff, like what can go wrong. And I go to bed, I'll have nightmares. I'll tell you, like the most common nightmare is you turned your paper in without finishing the questions. You get out of the exam hall, you are reading the question and you see new question there. Okay, wait, I know this question. Why did I not solve this? Those are the kind of nightmares you see. And like suddenly you are in different, like, yeah, that was very, so work-life balance, Bikash Panthi, 0. No suggestion. If you can do it, good. I never had been good at it. And I never had this because also while I was in my undergrad, or even in my master's degree in Nepal, like I used to go to college from 9 to 5 something. I used to tutor from 4:30 a.m. in the morning to 8:30, go to college until 5, and start tutoring again from 5:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. Where is work-life balance? And we have only one day off in Nepal, like Saturday. On Saturdays, there were houses that I didn't have time on any other days, and they would be like, can you do only on Saturdays, please, like few hours. On Saturdays also, my job would be, washing your clothes, everything, keeping your room clean, blah, 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 doing, health, hygiene and all that, plus teaching those kids again. So there was no time for things that make me happy or like, taking time off, chilling, relaxing, going out. In Nepal, I don't remember going out with friends.
Why don't you have
ever.
Sundays off in Nepal?
That's how it is. Like,
really?
Yeah. We only have one day.
That.
It's only Saturday off.
It's only Saturday
so
off.
you have school on Sunday?
Yeah. But you don't have school on Saturday.
Wow. I never knew.
Wow, it's a new knowledge for
That's interesting.
Yeah, no, it's only Saturday. So even those days I was working, so I never learned how to have this balance between work and life. Work has always been.
And this is high school
important.
we're talking about, or just undergrad or something?
After grade. So this not sleeping during exam started from grade 9. I remember it was a subject that I was doing account. And then for some reason, there was too much thing to do before the exam. That night I didn't sleep. And then it continued, like forever. I never slept in any of my exams. I slept on once or twice, like it doesn't mean like 100%, once or twice. And the next day I'm like, well, I slept last night and I don't feel bad about it. Like there have been moments like that. But that one, and then working was right after I finished my grade 12. So the day I had my final exams of grade 12, it was like the exams last day, and the chair or the principal from the college where I was doing my plus. We call grade 11 and 12 as +2. We don't call it high school.
Yeah.
So he calls me in and he's like, "Hey, Bikash, how do you think I have a job for you? Like, would you be interested in teaching school?" Like, and I was at that time I was thinking of preparing for medical school. It was like getting into a medical school is not a trouble for us. Like, you take an exam, as long as you get starting score, you can do it. But like, can you afford it? No. If you cannot afford it, you have to be on the merit list.
Right.
And then it was quite tough. I was doing that, and I still was like, yeah, sure. I mean, that way I'll be able to support myself. I started teaching. It was not too many hours at that time, few hours a day. I started teaching while I was preparing medical school, blah, blah, blah. For some reason, I didn't get my name in the merit list. There is no other reason. And I chose not to pay for the medical school. I could not afford, and it would be like too much to, get loans and all that. I didn't want to do that. And then for undergrad, every single day I was working in the morning, tutoring in the morning, tutoring in the evenings, going to, while I was in undergrad, I did classes in the afternoon, my classes, not afternoon or morning, yeah, sometime like that, tutoring before those classes. And then I was working as a lab assistant at a college. And then I was also teaching school, tutoring, teaching school. And then when I joined my master's degree, my master's classes were full-time from morning 9 or 10 to 5, like continuously. So there were all the jobs that I did in the afternoon. I left them, the school and the lab I left, and I was tutoring before my classes, like 4 or 5 houses. It was like home tutoring. You run from one house to other house. And then in the evening after my classes were off tutoring. So that's how it has been. I didn't even have my Saturdays off. Like, one of the reason I never made many friends. You are never available to go out, to hang out, While I'm at the college, I'm very close to people, seem like I'm always available. But once that ring of the final class is over, you are nowhere to be found because you already ran to catch a bus to the tutoring place, So, yeah, that's how it went. So that is the other reason why I did not find the TA job here any difficult.
Yeah.
Right.
In the
Now
beginning,
it all makes sense.
in the beginning, I was assigned like one lab to teach and learning center. I remember going to my supervisor and saying, "Hey, why did you have to split me? Why did you not keep it simple like for other students? Why could it not be just the learning center or just the teaching? Why?" And she was like, "Oh, why are you complaining about this? People want to do the learning." I was like, "Okay, can you just not give me 2 labs?" And she was like, "People want to do the learning center. It's easier and like you help few students and the job is completed within the learning center. You don't have to take work back to home and blah, blah." I was like, "Okay, we'll see." And then the TA work was very easy for me. I mean, I never had a student complain about my work as well. So otherwise it would have been difficult again.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think anybody complained about my work, how I was working. There were instances where students were like, saying very good things in my face and to my supervisor behind my face. Like, learning center has like very good memories for me.
Really?
So that's why I think that is one of the reasons why I never found the TA job very difficult in the universities. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense obviously now.
Yeah, no, my God, I did hustle a lot. I did hustle a lot.
That's great. I mean, it landed you where you are right now, so that's good.
Yeah, I guess.
So now, Bikash, it's obvious that, I mean, people have their different journeys.
Yeah.
Their own different unique journeys in general in life, but then let's like try to come back to grad school. Do you think people share similar struggles as you did, or like was it very, very hard just for you? I mean, you can compare it with, your cohort.
Yeah, so I don't think it was very, very difficult just for me, except for the fact that I did research. Except for, first of all, I'm an international student, right? So it already, in terms of visa status, work authorization, documentation, what research you can do, because international students, we cannot join certain lab projects because they are federally funded and they need residents here. So already some of the works are cut off because when I went to my current advisor, like my PhD advisor, I talked to him about projects and stuff, and he mentioned that, hey, I do have projects with NASA. What is your residency status? And I was like, no, I'm in F1. And he was like, oh, you cannot work on this. I think, these are, I understand why those are like that because like, national issues and all that. But so it's already cut off. So that side, people, students who are residents here may find it a little easier. Okay. And then the other thing that is different was like I chose to do my research outside of the university. Right?
Yes.
So for international students who are under F1 status, you cannot work outside university at all. Right? It has to be, even if it is work, TA, RA, or your research, it should be inside the university. So for every semester, I had to request work authorization. Sometimes there will be timing issues, and not all the documents gets processed on time. Right? You have to go through channels, collect a lot of signatures and all that. So that would be different also. Apart from that, if we are talking about struggle with studies, struggle with research, it would also depend on your personality as well. Some people might find it very controversial when I say that because I was not. I don't know. I don't think I'm a very confident guy in terms of going and talking to somebody and saying, this or that, or like, I don't like what you're doing. Like, can I do this? But I would be like, this is what I need to do. I'll do it. That kind of guy, so it would be also in personalities. I have seen students who are very confident in themselves. They go to the advisor, talk to them, stay in the lab for a few weeks. If they don't like it, they'll be like, hey, I'm not finding it comfortable. I'm leaving it. That thing also I was questioning, okay, how do you go and tell an advisor that you like your research? Can you take me in your lab? Can you let me try it out? And then later on say, hey, I didn't like it and move. I mean, that's not a good way of thinking. I know, I realize it, but like, I couldn't think in any other better way, right? So studies, I think everybody was similar. I wouldn't say I struggled more. We were taught same way. I did struggle with the way of teaching, way of grading, because I did not come from that way. I still hate to know that the grades I'm getting depends on how bad my classmates will perform. I hate that about American style of grading. I would rather say if you attend anything over 90%, you get this grade. I would happily accept that because no one else's work is influencing my results, right? Right? For me to perform well, others have to perform bad in terms of grading. And that I hated it, right? And also the other thing I kind of struggled was the way we were taught. I don't know, at least few subjects was like, here you know the equation and then you look more for the application of that equation. Like you try to solve problems regarding that, like what could be done with that equation, right? We generally did not, at least here, tend to go like, where is that equation coming from? What are the steps, like every individual steps to get reach to that equation? Those equations, like deriving equations, are never the part of the question in the exams, right? So, but in Nepal, my maths, my physics, majority of it would be talking about a theory, equation related to that theory, and deriving that equation from zero level, starting with let us consider a particle or stuff like that. Basic. You do every single step. That way you know all the assumptions behind it. That way you know where you can apply that equation, where you cannot apply the equation. And then I don't feel comfortable using an equation until I know where it is coming from, or until I'm confident that I can derive that equation myself. I'm not saying it is good or bad in any way, but that is the part I struggled with again, like because I would go to the university here, take a class, the professor, the lecturer would talk about an equation, then we'll more focus on like solving a issue or a problem that would use that equation, how to use it properly and stuff like that. For me to be able to use that equation in a question, I'll have to have this in my head that if I need to, I can derive this equation.
Right.
And that was one thing I struggled with it. That might be different with other students. That is something different. But I don't think there was anything else that was specifically unique to me. I might have been more stressed, more than needed. That's my habit. So it's not on anybody else. It is on myself that I need to work on me. I might be more stressed about it, but other than that, I don't think there is anything that I can think of right now. Otherwise, it's like the similar one. Like everybody has their own struggles, but study, research, everybody will experience similar stuff. Yeah. That's
right.
what I think, at least. I mean, if you call somebody else from my class, they would definitely have a different story to say, right? They would like their own struggles, their own
Absolutely.
how they deal with the class, even the same course and stuff like that. But otherwise, if we talk in broad term, it's similar. I think it's similar.
Very similar.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
So, I'm sure everything that you were going through, your parents were aware that this is what's happening.
No,
Really?
they were not.
Wow.
Nobody knew that it happened. Nobody knew that I was having trouble with funding issues. Nobody, my family doesn't know till now. If they hear this podcast, my mom doesn't understand English, so she would never know. My sisters may slightly understand English, so they may or may not know. My brother will understand, I think. So they don't know yet that I went through that. My cousin, I don't know if I told my cousin about the funding issue or even why I chose to go to MD Anderson. I don't know. I have, generally also, I don't tend to share things to anybody. I have trust issues, a lot of trust issues. There's like, I don't have a background why I have those, but I have trust issues in sharing things. But I didn't share it with my family, especially because they would be worried. They would be worried. Like there is nothing. They can motivate me. They can give me words and moral support. All that I understood that, but it would give them more worry, more concern. They would make them more concerned. So I never said that to them. There were a few instances of being questioned for my life choices here by people here. I never told them. Nowadays I talk freely with my friends here and there, but no, my family did not know that.
Wow.
My parents did not know that. My sisters didn't know that. No.
That must have been hard, going through everything and then not having anyone to talk to about.
That's why I tell you, being a guy who is very close to my family, it's difficult. But then I try to be like, this is just going to add worries to them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I understand.
They have enough on their plate. That's how I always feel, which is not always healthy too. Like your parents want to be in your life, what's going on. Your sisters want to be in your life.
But they're so far that there's literally nothing that they can do.
Except but the level of, concern they will have for me, they will start continuously thinking about, is he doing well or not? That would be the same even we are far, right?
Yes.
But then they cannot do anything else. And then that is why I told you, right? I appreciated every single person who spoke to me nicely. All my classmates. I guess it was also because I didn't have anybody else to share. I had, but I chose not to share with anybody else apart from the community that knew what was going on by themselves. So that's why I think I appreciated my classmates more, and even those advisors who were empathetic to me, even though they couldn't do anything else, but giving me some words of wisdom. I think that's why I appreciated it more too. Yeah, So I know nobody from my family knew that I was going through that.
So this naturally leads to the next question that, since you had so much to, deal with just by yourself, did you always prioritize mental health, or did you learn to prioritize it?
Okay, the question is again wrong. I never prioritized my mental health. I never did, which is wrong again. For any new grad students, any people, I already told you, if there is no work-life balance, you will struggle with your mental health. But by mental health, I never felt like, depression, depression. I don't know if I had gone and talked to a doctor, if I would have been diagnosed with those, but I never felt like that, because even not sleeping for the few days in a row did not affect my work. Okay. That is how I felt. Did not affect the energy that I was portraying among my friends. I don't think anybody would. Once in a while, maybe somebody would have come and say, hey, because you look low today. Are you okay? Maybe, once in a while. But for someone who hasn't slept more than 4 hours for more than 2 years, one day in 6 months doesn't count. Because any normal people will also hear those comments, right? So, and on my work, I don't think anybody has ever questioned about me not performing well at my job and stuff like that. So Not really. I never. Yeah, mental health. It could have been worse with the way I was dealing with myself. I think I was not taking care of myself and all that. But now I think one thing that might have helped me to keep my head fresh and all could be my cousin's kid. Okay?
Oh, okay.
There were 2 boys before. Now there is a cute little girl. Also, she's like 2 years now. Those kids, I love kids. I adore kids. Like, always been like that. Even when I was a child, I used to love kids. Okay. So, and then I was living with my cousin for a few years, as I mentioned, right? And I think being with the family kind of took, I don't know. I never questioned if I should be going through this, except from those 2 incidents, what I mentioned, like a struggle in doing a homework, struggle with the exams and all that. I was like, I signed up for this.
Yeah.
I literally took my decision in my life that my parents were not happy about. It was the first decision that I took against my parents, like literally, not against because they were not like, oh, you cannot do it, but like, you understand what I mean. Now, if I didn't even think I was in the position to question those, right? So that's where like, no, but then, yeah, the kids, I spent some time with the kids, going on evening walk with them, like helping them with the studies once in a while, talking nonsense, even playing like this and that. And that might have helped, like if I think about it, like, and keeping myself busy is one thing that I never, stopped myself from. I was always busy doing stuff. So if I was like not sleeping, laying in the bed, looking at the ceiling for whole night, maybe it would have affected me more. But I was not sleeping. Why I was not sleeping? Because I was working. Yeah. That's how it went. I was working till late, and I woke up and I was working. So there was, no. I did not take care of my mental health in terms of how we talk about it. And also, I don't think I ever learned. That's the problem. Yeah. I'm a South Asian, typical Nepali guy. I don't know if it is same in India, but mental health, what is it? That is the impression we have. Like, seriously, mental health, what is it? Oh, talking to a counselor? Oh, are you like, mad? Like, mad in the sense of like, are you crazy? Is your like brain in the should be admitted? Like, the taboo, the stereotype that goes on, like you are scared away about the talking about, like even talking to a psychologist or like, therapist. And therapist, oh my God, that guy is going to a therapist. That's how we grew up. Seriously, having this, the thought that talking to somebody is okay, like it's necessary, not just okay, it is necessary. Like that, and okay, till that I don't believe me sharing my problems with someone else can help me. Like, I still don't believe, but I understand the importance and how it could help others, right? And I'm not a guy who gets easily motivated by someone else's life, someone else's words. I'll start thinking like, your shoes are different than mine. That prevents me from being, motivated from others' achievements and stuff like that. So no, very bad in terms of work-life balance, very bad in terms of mental health. So all I know is whatever was going on, I don't know if I would have performed better than right now, but because I'm happy with the work I was able to produce, I don't think I ever let anyone affect my work. So I didn't struggle with mental health issues, I guess. And then, like every once in a while you have those moments when you are like actually happy about your work and somebody else acknowledges that. That happened a few times at University of Houston as well. Right in the beginning of the right from the first year to the end of the degree, right? There were moments, and you hold on to those and you keep on moving.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's what happened.
So looking back over all these years, if you could, is there anything you would want to change?
I would not have signed up for PhD.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I told you, like, I'm questioning my degree. Not the work, but the degree. First of all, I would not have left Nepal. I might have done the PhD, but in Nepal. So because my happiness is most of the time lies on, am I able to do something for my family at this point, for my mom, for my sisters, and my dad while he was there. realizing that there's nothing I can do for my father anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's worse. Like it's it's a terrible feeling to have. And now also when I think of my mom, she's living alone back in Nepal, and like if something were to happen to her, God forbid, I would not be able to do anything to my parents that I have always wished to do, like, and I don't think I'd have joined the PhD first case. Second, if I did that, secondly, I might not have chosen University of Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Not any particular reason, considering the appointment that I had, considering the rules and laws that I knew about University of Houston, considering the presence of xoxo, not that, but like if I knew there were going to be some changes throughout the years, I would have to deal through this. I would not have chosen University of Houston, for sure. And then third, I would have been more flexible about finding an advisor who is a kind, genuine human being, just like my current advisor. I think I should take his name, Dr. Lawrence Pinsky, and also my advisor at MD Anderson. He's Dr. Jingfei Ma. Both. I landed up with those people. That was my luck. Like I tell you, like very genuine human being. They would do anything that to support you. I mean, I know that I never shied away from putting in the hard work. I would never do that because I signed up for it. And if you are coming and telling me things like, saying, hey, because this is not going good, you should work more, I'll take it because I have to. That is like some constructive criticism I am always open to. But initially I was like, okay, I love the projects in that lab. I want to work with that person, irrespective of what kind of individual that was, or without even knowing what that person would be, how the students feel about being there. I would not have cared. But now I think I would have talked to the lab members who are working with that person. How do they feel? Do they feel okay working? And then all that thing I would have paid more attention to. What else? I think everything is gone there, right? Yeah. If I did that, so the first step, not joining the PhD. Second step, if I decided to join the PhD, maybe I'd do it in Nepal. Third step, if I decided to come to United States, then maybe not University of Houston. Fourth step, if I join University of Houston, still maybe look for more about the advisor, not only about his academic qualification, performance, or the projects he has, but also as like how students feel in his lab. Do they feel condescended about like the stuff they don't know, or do they feel like welcomed about the questions and all? Do they feel like the advisor is giving them enough time to teach them, to train them over the years? Like, those stuff I would pay more attention. But after that, after I joined the new lab at MD Anderson and got associated with Dr. Pinsky at University of Houston, I don't think I came across problems that I would like to change, because after that, I mean, obviously, it would be nicer to not have to go through documentations and all that every semester, but that was not caused by anyone else. That is a rule of the nation here, right? And we have to go through it. So I couldn't change that. I wouldn't be able to change it. But other than that, once I actually started working with my current committee member, oh my God. Yeah, so this committee member that I have, I think that is the best committee member I could ever ask for. I had 3 members from University of Houston and 2 from MD Anderson, right? And all the 3 person that I have in my committee, I'm not saying anyone else from those 3 are bad or like they are not good human being or not good advisor. I didn't get the chance to work with them, so I cannot comment on how they are, right? But the 3 people from University of Houston and the 2 from MD Anderson I had are genuinely nice people. Genuinely nice people.
Yes.
Dr. Timmins, Dr. Ratty, as I said before also, and Dr. Pinsky from University of Houston. And I had Dr. Ma from MD Anderson and Dr. Wang we have Kenping Wang from MD Anderson. Like, these people, great. Like, this is what you want an advisor to be. Like, you don't feel like you are stupid because you asked a question.
Yes.
Right? You don't feel like... maybe you don't belong to the lab because you did not understand a topic or you did something wrong. Because grad school is a learning place, right? Not the performance not a job place where you show your performance, right? It's a learning place, and having an advisor, who know that you are a student and they are going to train you is very important. And yeah, nothing after that I'd change, I think. Yeah.
Every layer has
there
different...
there has a layer, obviously, like seriously. And each of those layers have a separate reasoning for why I would change that, right?
No, it makes sense, yes.
Yeah.
But given the journey, would you have some advice for your younger self, given this
For
journey?
myself?
Yeah.
Yeah, again, all the things that I wouldn't have done,
Same
think maybe like 100 times before you do it, like, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, no, I think, yeah, no, that is what I would have for myself.
And what advice do you have for us and people who are just starting their PhD journey?
Finish your PhD as soon as you can, with a conditional statement I'll give. As soon as you can doesn't mean that get into a lab, do one project, get out. I don't mean that way. But there will be points in your PhD journey where you'll think, I have enough for my thesis, I have enough for my PhD, and my advisor also thinks that I have enough for my PhD. But there are a few other new projects that are coming to our lab. Should I stay and work on those? Should I get out of the journey? I'd say finish your PhD at that point when you feel like you have enough done, you have learned enough skills, and then explore other options. Like could be job, you could do the same projects by staying in academia after PhD as well, right?
Yeah.
So that is one thing that I'd advise, like have a timeline to graduate, especially for international students. You don't know when the rules of the university changes, when the country changes their rule. You always have to be on, top of all the documentations, the visa issues. Like, you are away from your family, away from your country, like a birthplace and those things. And other than that, it would be, everybody comes and say, enjoy your work, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's not always possible to enjoy what you are doing. It's about finding those tits and bits where you are, I like this aspect of my job. I like this part of my research. Hold on to those and like push yourself through it. And also mental health issues. I know many of us struggle through mental health issues. Don't be Bikash. Don't be Bikash in that case. Seriously, don't be Bikash. There will be opportunities at the university. There are counselors. I think almost all the universities in America have counselors. Find us, talk to them. Don't be Bikash again and thinking that I should not be sharing my problems with other. I don't believe someone else can help me. I still think, which is bad. So don't be Bikash in that, and don't be Bikash in terms of work-life balance. This might be tricky because you cannot leave your studies at university, come back home and think like, okay, I'm done for the day while you are doing your PhD. No, but even if you are doing all-nighters, find an hour in between to take a break. Drink water, drink something, whatever interesting to you. Do not let go of your hobbies. Like, do something. I regretted, during my 5 years of my PhD, I read only one novel. I started the second one and I didn't even finish it. Oh. For a guy who used to read 10 novels in a week.
Wow.
And for me, like if I have time, I would, if I start a novel, I want to finish it in single sitting. Like that's how I read books. Like, if I sit reading, I have to finish it in single sitting, maximum 2, because it doesn't feel like, taking a break. So don't do that. Like take a break and believe that you can do it. Believe that you can do it. And also, again, this is going to be controversial with what suggestion I just gave, because if at some point you feel like this is not meant for you, maybe it is not. Right. And PhD or going through the school is not the end of your journey, like, and is not the end of your life. Maybe at some point if you feel like you are not being respected enough, if you feel like, this is not meant for you, you should give it a thought too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not everybody needs to finish the journey just because they started it.
That's right.
Right. So that is that.
So lastly, what is the best piece of advice that you've ever gotten?
Tricky again. Best piece of advice I have ever gotten. What did I get? I think it would be to deal with how, develop a thick skin for the comments you get on your life choices. We didn't talk about this over the span, but there were a few instances in America while I was questioned terribly for my choices, for my preferences, be it food, be it how I am with animals, like, be it my skin color. I was passed comment here and then. And then in some instances, I had my friends around me, so they kind of defended me, and it made me feel better that you have somebody who is defending you and all. And some instances, I was alone, and we'll have to face those people, face those instances in life. So
what exactly happened?
Okay. Should we go back to the story? Okay.
Sure.
There are a few stories, right? Okay. Let's stop. Let's talk about two of those. I think like those two issues. I'm choosing to talk about these two, not the one with my skin color or where I come from, because these two should not affect anybody. Like literally does not affect a single soul in this earth, and you still get comments passed on. So I did not talk about this with many people after that incident. The first incident was within a few months of me coming to the United States. Okay, few months. We do not speak English in Nepal. So our books were in English medium. I did go to boarding school, but we talk in Nepali. We are taught in Nepali, and not very confident in speaking English. Right? I still find my English not so good. The vocabulary I struggle. My accent, like you are always concerned, right? How everybody will take you. Will they understand what you're saying? Blah blah blah. So I was not very vocal. I was not very talkative, which would be a different thing. People to believe that I'm not talkative and all that, it's a very strange thing. But I'm not as comfortable talking in English as in Hindi or in Nepali. Nepali, my first language. If somebody comes and argues with me in Nepali, they are going to have a hard time if I actually believe in the thing I'm talking. The same with Hindi too. Like if you are coming and talking to me in Hindi and arguing about something that I don't think makes sense, I would have a discussion. Like I'm not going to fight you, but like I would definitely have a logical discussion. I'll put my point across. It doesn't mean you have to agree with it, but like, there will be a discussion that goes until either I am satisfied or you are satisfied. But in English, I am not confident in myself, maybe. That's why I don't bring it. So back to the story. So after a few months, I came here. One of my classmates, again, I'm sorry, I'm saying classmate. I should refer to him as friend. This is my bad habit that I don't give a tag of friend to literally anybody. I just say classmates, batchmates, acquaintances. My personal reasons again, but I do call him a friend too. Like I had a classmate, we used to have conversation about, how America is not Houston, like how America has these rural areas too. Like, and I was like, dude, like everything in Houston is structured. You have all the facilities you need. You have a good life. As long as you can afford it, like it's good. And he used to be like, oh no, not all America is same. Someday when we have opportunities, I'll take you outside of Houston. And it was like, we went to College Station, A&M, because his family member had some event there, and he invited me, other friends too. I think that was it, yeah. And then we went there. We were seeing the views. I was like, okay, yeah. So we have kind of rural sceneries, not a rural living space, but like the way blah blah blah. And then I am a vegetarian. Okay, this is the issue. I am a vegetarian. I don't eat eggs and meat. Vegetarian in Asia, South Asia means you don't eat eggs, meats, fish, anything. Here, eggs are considered vegetarian, but I don't. Okay, I don't. Okay, and as far as I believe, it is not harmful to anybody that I am a vegetarian. As long as I don't demand you to provide me food that I want. Like I know my choices and I am going to live with it, right? I'm not going to expect anybody to serve me with what I want. Okay. In the College Station, we had a good day. It was a nice, first trip outside of Houston. Within first few months, I was comfortable talking with my friends, but not with strangers, all that. We went to is it a fast food chain? But food chain with a huge thing in the United States. I don't know if I should say the name, but should I?
You can.
IHOP.
IHOP.
Okay. We went there. I think we were 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 people. Please, the people who were with me, they might be like, oh, we were 6, you forgot somebody. That might happen. Okay, I'm not gonna, I don't exactly know how many we were. I think I can remember 1, me, and then 2, 3, 4. I think we were 5 so far as I remember. Okay. And then we went to IHOP. It was in the evening, almost like 8 or something. And then we went there. Our mindset was like, let's ask if they have something for me. Others, all my friends were non-vegetarians. I think they would eat things. Right? We went there. We had a server come. She asks us, hey, what would you like to have? Like, all that. And I don't think if I asked her myself, like that was my situation, like how much I wanted to avoid conversation with stranger. I think I asked my friend to ask them if they had anything vegetarian that doesn't have eggs and meat. By vegetarian, they do have like pancakes and all, but they do use eggs in those. So I think he asked. Again, this might not be... I think my friend asked for that instant. He was like, do you have anything vegetarian? First, he started the conversation. Then I added saying vegetarian meaning no eggs and no meat. And the server said, unfortunately, we don't. Unfortunately, we don't have anything that we can serve. But would you be okay if I toss in a salad for you, broccoli, lettuce and all that? And I was like, yeah, that would be great. That would be great. Like, if she had said we don't serve anything, I'm sorry. That is a completely acceptable answer to me, because not every place serves vegetarian. And I don't want my food to be cross-contaminated with eggs and meat, right? And it's not their duty to fulfill what I want, so I'll be okay. But she wanted to go extra mile for her customer, and she said, yes, I can toss in a salad for you. Like, I was like, oh my God, I'm so grateful. Thank you. Right. And then she goes, and after a few minutes, somebody else comes from the kitchen. I think he was the chef or cook in the kitchen. He said he introduced him. He comes to our table. I don't think it was very crowded that day. It was late evening. So he comes to our table and he asks, who is the vegan here? Okay. He asked that. Okay, that's fine. Normal. And we looked at each other's face. Obviously, nobody was a vegan. Then I said, nobody is a vegan here, but considering you are talking to us, you might be referring to me, because I'm a vegetarian. I want a diet that does not have meat or eggs in it. And he said, in that case, I'll have to ask you to leave the restaurant directly.
Really?
What?
That is the expression that others have.
Wait, 1 second. How long ago is this?
2018.
What?
Either 2018 end or 2019 beginning. Because I remember it was like the first semester or so. I was still timid and shy to talk to strangers. So it was, how I talk to people. Now I don't care. Like, I talk to every single person I see. So that was the time. So very early while I was in America. And that guy comes and says, like, in that case, I'll have to ask you to leave the restaurant. He said that. Okay. And I said, why is that so? And he's like, you cannot come here and ask us to give you a vegetarian dish. He said that. I remember every single word he said. I remember exactly how he looked. I remember exactly how the server looked, because I'm very bad at remembering faces. But these two people I remember. Like, there's such a drastic difference between the personalities. And he says that, and I was like, I mean, okay, if you cannot prepare it, you don't have to. It's okay. You can serve their food. They will eat it and then we'll leave. And he's like, no, sir, you cannot do that. You'll have to leave.
What?
Yeah. Like, if they want to eat, they can sit. But he was like, literally, you have to get out of the restaurant to let your friends eat inside.
Oh my God.
Right. And then I don't know what triggered that guy. We didn't say anything. We were still talking about like how nice the server was towards us, right? And then I don't know what triggered to him. He was like, and at some point you think like maybe he was kidding, right? Maybe he was kidding. He was not. If it was only me and if I had been like, no, he was not kidding, blah, 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 then maybe I would be wrong. But like all of us in the table, nobody in the table thought like he was kidding.
My God.
Okay, he said that, okay? And then you question your choices of coming to United States, don't you, right?
Yeah.
I was not going to turn into a non-vegetarian just because somebody came and said that comment to me.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's
seriously.
surprising because now they do sell vegan options. So that's
I'm sure like in 2019 they had vegan options and vegetarian options.
But even if they
the
didn't,
salad was an option. That's why she
said salad was not an option.
No,
they didn't have
she said
anything
she
in the
would
menu. She said she would make it because they will have vegetables and fruits.
Yeah,
right?
the point is if you don't have it, just say you don't have it. And even if you're going an extra mile, just make sure everyone else inside the kitchen is okay with it.
I mean, IHOP is in India now, and I'm sure they
Yeah.
have to have veg.
So,
That's
like, that
crazy.
lady was very. We wouldn't have those. Like if she said, I don't think the server took it as a big deal to prepare the salad at all because they have the lettuce and all because
Yeah,
there's eggs and all.
exactly,
They have the fruits like blueberries and all. See, I think that is how she explained. Like we have these vegetables that go on other stuff.
Yeah.
I can toss it together for you. Might not be the best meal. She didn't say that, but like, see, her impression was like, it might not be what you were expecting, like a proper meal, but if that's okay for you, I can make it for you. And I was like, thank you. Yes, please. That guy comes in and says that my friends were mad, like crazy mad.
I would be
Imagine
mad.
how timid I was. Like, I didn't even know I was allowed to be mad at that situation.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, if you cannot serve me, then serve them. Sorry, I'm not hungry anymore. Please serve my friends. They will eat and will leave. I said that. Like, if it was me now, I don't know what would have happened.
Oh my God.
That guy would be either fired
Yeah.
or seriously something would have happened.
Yeah.
Again, not. Don't be that Bikash as well.
Did you go back
nobody
to
deserves
that IHOP again?
I have never been to that IHOP, but nowadays I think I don't know.
Yeah,
I have
I
never
think
been to
you
any
should.
other IHOPs again. Like I have never, maybe been to with other friends, but I have never even asked, do you have anything that I can eat? Never even looked at the menu. Never ordered anything. Like I'm indifferent now. I don't care. And then what happens is like he goes away. He doesn't. If he like immediately said, "Oh no, I'm kidding. I was just trying, like pulling your leg."
Yeah.
Even after all that, if it was like on the same conversation, we would have taken it. Okay. Oh my God, I was worried, but like, it's okay. He goes back to the kitchen. Okay. It's like almost 5 or 10 minutes. I think the server followed him, and then maybe they had discussion inside. Something happened. He comes back and he's like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I did not mean it that way." Now he's saying it. I'm sorry. I also have a sister who is a vegan. What? Like, what are you saying? Oh my God. I mean, I literally said, okay, it's okay. I understand. That's fine. I'm not offended anymore. Just serve my friends food. They will eat and will leave. At that point, I said that. My friends were not having it. They were like, we are not having food here. Let's go. And I was like, guys, we already ordered the food. You guys have it. It's okay. I'm fine. And then that is the incidents. I didn't tell it to my cousin here. I didn't tell it to my family. If I told that to my parents, they would be like, come back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't think I deserved it for just being a vegetarian. Like, I hadn't, if I was like, oh, can you please make something for me? You have to have this. You must have something.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have been a different scenario. I didn't do that at all. Like, like I am a dramatic person. I know, like I like to dramatize things. I enjoy it. Like I exaggerate things and all. But like that time I was not in my own self yet.
Yeah.
I was already like not talking much, shy, timid, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't say that. We were just appreciating the fact that, okay, everybody is going to have something to eat. We just needed food that I could eat. And like, I was, oh my God. Yeah, no, my friends were mad. And that was an experience. It was like, it was at the beginning of my, United States experience. So
yeah, that's what matters.
That kind of stayed in my head for a long time. So it turns out I hadn't talked about this with even my classmates because yesterday I went out with my friends and we had this conversation. We were at a restaurant that didn't serve vegetarian food. We didn't ask. We knew it didn't serve vegetarian. We went to visit some place and then we knew it didn't serve vegetarian. We were okay with it. We went in, they ordered the food and we were just talking about, I hope nobody comes and asks me to leave the restaurant. Just kidding. And they were like, no, nobody would do that and blah, blah. Oh no, that had happened to me before. So that's when I realized I haven't even shared it with my friends. But now recently I have been open about talking about things and, I don't know if I could have dealt with it in a better way. I don't know. Like seriously, I don't know. What should I have done? What I should have done? But that happened. That was one incident. Okay. I still refuse to believe that my choices with food were harming that person that much that he has to say that to me.
That's
I
right.
refuse to believe that. Unless somebody gives me a different perspective that you being a vegetarian is harming someone else.
It's absurd. There's no other explanation to it.
So I refuse to believe that. And then there comes another choice. Should we talk still?
Yeah.
And this is a very trivial thing. I am not good with dogs and cats. By not good, I don't mean I hate them. I love them. I like them from a distance, but I don't feel like cuddling with them. I don't feel like petting them, because when I see dogs and cats licking people, I am kind of this cleanliness freak or something like that. I have to struggle when my space is messy, when my space is not clean, or stuff like that. That's my personal struggle. So I find dogs and cats very adorable, very cute. Like, I'm not against having pets at our home, blah blah blah. But I just can't. I have this weird sensation that runs in my veins when I feel like the dogs and cats are coming near me and they want to like lick me and stuff. I cannot do that. There was one person, and when I think during this conversation I was alone with the other guy. There was a group, somebody, and they suddenly told me that, I'm sure you are not a good person or you are a kind person because you are not good with animals. And I was like, what? Again, what? That was okay. I'm not saying this is my life choice not to be good with animals. Yeah. It's like, I don't hate animals, for sure. Like,
was he an American, the person?
Yeah. I mean, he was white, so I'm not sure if he was American. I'm not very good at judging this, but he was white. And he's not from our university, luckily, and all that. But someone else, there was a group that I was kind of involved in with, and then that person is like, you cannot be kind human being if you are not good with animals, because animals know who is kind and they will only approach those people who are kind, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that might be true. I don't know. Animals might sense somebody's intentions, blah, blah. Okay, I don't have anything to justify it or nullify it. But that person is like, you cannot be kind no matter what. And mind it, that guy eats chicken every single day. Every single day. Oh my goodness. Like, if we were to talk really about who loves animals and does not, but this statement will come across wrong, so maybe I'll not say it, but like, dude, look at what you are eating.
Yeah. No, but that's a very valid counter argument for his comment that, hey,
like, seriously, you're talking about
not correlated whether you're good with animals and you're good with. I mean, there are people who are extremely cruel, but they're good with animals. So it just does not make sense.
I don't hate. I mean, I don't hate
there's no
animals.
Correlation at all.
I never pass bad comments about animals. Like, I just cannot. It's my problem that I cannot be in the same space with animals and all that. I don't feel comfortable around them. I feel like I might be hurt, or the animal might get hurt. If the cat comes into my leg and start licking, I definitely will have to kick him away or sue him away. And animals do not go away easily. Like, you have to be forceful, and in the process, I don't want to hurt them at all. But then when that person passed that comment on me, and I would definitely not want to be someone who is not kind. Like, that is something I appreciate about my mother, is how kind she is towards others. Like, I guess everybody feels the same about their mom, but I feel, like, those are the qualities that I want from my mom. I don't want to be someone who wins an argument every single time, who can fight, like physical fights, and wins it every single time. I don't want to be. I don't need to be. I'm not concerned whether I'll be the person who is on the winning side in those cases. But if it comes in the matter of like being kind or not and all that, like if you are kind to a human being, if you are a nice human being, again, when I talked about choosing an advisor, give emphasis about being a kind human being again. And if I'm not kind myself, how dare I expect someone else to be kind to me, right? So that is what triggered me, kind of like, made me rethink, reevaluate, okay, where I might have gone wrong. And this thing, I talked about this with my classmates. We have a WhatsApp group. Our classmates, we had a WhatsApp group. And I just threw in a question. Hey guys, this is what somebody told me today. What do you think? Like, what are your opinions? Like, I don't remember if I directly asked, like, do you guys think I'm not kind to you all at times? Like, I mean, and then I'll tell you why this question might have triggered me more. Because every once in a while, I have the habit of passing mean comments to people who are close to me. I have this habit, okay? Like, I have done it. Like, I'm not proud of it. I'm working on it. I think it is still work in progress, but I might have seen somebody who is very close to me though, like not a stranger or like who I just had one or two, who is like whom I talk about, we have talked with every single day. We are close friends. We literally fight, like argue, pull each other's legs. Maybe like he got new glasses. It's literally an actual instance. Like one of my classmates, my friend, he got a new pair of glasses, right? And then it was the morning. We go into the classroom and I see him. He sees, and I think there were people who were like, "Oh, nice glasses," blah blah. And I was like, "No, these glasses are not nice. They don't look good." I said that to him. I don't think he took it negatively. Luckily, thankfully, because he knew what kind of relation I have with him, right? He knew, and I had. But for someone who is a bystander, it definitely might have come across to me. And he acknowledges that those glasses were not good on him, though. He still does that. He still acknowledges that. And so at that point, I'm like, everybody else was like, "Oh, those glasses look good on you. Look good on you." They were just trying to be nice, you know, maybe I could have been nice or not said anything at all. But then everybody was saying they look nice on him, and I was like, why are they doing this to him? Like, why are they doing this to him? They don't look good on him at all, like at all. So, and you know, when you know that you do this to your very close friends, and imagine that person was not even doing very good that day, he might feel hurt, right? And then I slowly learned it. I'm learning it. That's a very bad habit of me. So that is when I was like already trying to, you know, learn being not past mean comments. Like I didn't even think in the beginning it was a mean comment, but it is a mean comment. It is a mean comment. I have to acknowledge it. It was my wrongful doing. But thankfully, the person I was throwing it to was Isa, not a Waza. He will kill me if I say Waza. He is a good friend to me still. We bonded like in the very beginning of the semester. I think he was the first person I met, and I was the first person he met. We already started hanging out around the fountains and all that. We had already built up that bond, and I was like, dude, no, this is not looking good on you. Like I said that. Like
I mean, you were honest.
Yeah,
to your
but
friend.
I am not gonna like, you know, support what I did by saying I was being honest. I was being good friend. Because I could have said that to him in private. Like,
yes.
You said it in front of everyone.
Like there, because again, I tell you that like all my classmates, we keep on joking around. I told you like how good everybody is, right? With everyone, I was like, and then they laughed, but then they were like, "Bikash, that is mean," and I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Like I acknowledge it immediately, but like, you know, that comes out, and I didn't think through really, and that was bad of me. But yeah, so like when somebody comes in, like you are not. And I, every single day, like growing up also, I would do things that would make me feel like, okay, this is a kindness. This is an act of kindness. I feel good at doing those, right? So, sorry. And then when somebody comes in, like, you cannot be kind if you are not good with animals or like you don't like animals, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, is that person actually correct? Like, is that person, like, you know, like, is that statement true? Is it a fact? And I was like, okay, I need to discuss it. I cannot just take that statement and consider it correct.
Makes you think.
It made me think, especially with what I was doing with my close people. Like once in a while, not very common, but like, you know, I was doing it. So it was wrong. I accept it. I still accept it. It was wrong. I should not have done it. Luckily, it was my good day that my friend was not offended. And I mean, I don't have problem saying sorry and apologizing. I would have apologized instantly when somebody's like, oh, no, this is mean. I did apologize to him, but it is bad, you know, like if he felt bad, but still forgave me. It is not the same as him already understanding my point, like what I was trying to say, right? So it was my lucky day. But then we talked over this WhatsApp chat with my friends, and everybody was like, no. That is a completely wrong statement.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
And, you know, that did make me question about my relationship with animals. I mean, I don't feel as bad with rabbits and, you know, other. Like it's dogs and cats that do animals that tend to lick. Like if we go to the zoo and you see like giraffes licking people, I cannot handle that either. Like I cannot handle that at all. Like I cannot. I hate zoos. I hate zoos and aquariums. It's the sense of that. I know zoos and aquariums are good in a lot of aspects, but I hate going there. I hate supporting zoos and aquariums because I feel like they are trapping animals.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
that's the only logic that I can see. I don't like going to the zoos and aquariums, no matter how wonderful they are. Like, I do understand, like, okay, rare animals are getting preserved there and blah and blah and blah and blah. But I hate those places because I do feel like, no, man, it's like me being trapped in a room. No matter you feed me, you give me clothes, you do everything to me, I am trapped. I am trapped. And okay, again, like, I should not be saying like zoos are bad in general, but for me personally, I don't like the ideas of zoos and aquariums, right? And we had a long conversation about this and that and that and that, and finally I came to acknowledge that, well, people can have their opinions, right? People can have their opinions, and unknowingly there might be instances when you are not kind to others, but you need to be aware that the person on the receiving end might not be having a good day,
right?
And on a bad day, even a smallest of word, like a very small statement, very small sentence, can build them up or break them down.
Yes.
And I try to be more aware of that situation and environment now. But, I mean, obviously I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm always good, blah, blah, blah. But like, so these experiences, again, like with animals, like me passing mean comments to other definitely affects other. That is not good. I should be held accountable for that. I agree. Like, I would be. But my relationship with animal, I don't see how it is affecting a single individual out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Just your relationship.
And again, if I'm coming, let's say you guys have a pet, I come to your house, and if I started like saying, oh, no, blah, 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 why you guys have a pet? Like, okay, this is disgusting, this is not good, this is messy, this is not clean, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I am in your space. I can choose not to be in your space.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can stay away, but I should not be questioning your choices. As long as I'm not doing this, and I don't think I ever do that. If I know somebody has pet, I'll definitely let them know that, hey, I'm not good at with animals. Like, I don't feel like petting them, cuddling them, but this is my situation. But I don't hate animals. I'm not gonna hate your pet. Like, I don't hate your choice with being pets, right? I would love to be able to do that with pets. Like, I would love to, but I just can't. Like, but I don't see a single way how it is gonna harm someone else. Like,
Absolutely
me.
not. Yeah.
So yeah, you have to know how to deal with these instances.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Like you said, having a thick skin.
Yeah. You need a thick skin. Oh my God. Yeah. The first one, you definitely need a skin as thick as a rhino. The first one was terrible. Now it's like, because I was able to overcome it, now it feels like a story to be shared and talked, maybe like aware people and stuff like that. Now, if somebody faces that, they should know that they should speak at the moment, not like me, where I needed my friends to talk for me.
Yes.
Like the person, whoever is on the receiving end, should stand up, talk about that to the guy, talk to the management, do whatever. Or I mean, if you want that person not to be punished, it's okay. Like, that person who passed you comments doesn't need to be punished, but you should not be thinking it's your fault.
Yes.
It's on you that guy treated you like that. It's very important that not everything that goes wrong is because of you.
Yeah, I mean, after a while you realize that a lot of these mean comments and a lot of things that people say comes from a point of their insecurity and not yours.
Yeah, that is what you should seriously realize. And that's and imagine me taking his comments seriously. Imagine if it was like a one-on-one conversation only. I didn't have my friends to defend me. Being up in my mental space of being that shyness and timidness at that time point. Me talking to my family back in Nepal, sharing, hey, this happened to me, I don't feel good. The first, as far as I know my family, the first reaction they would have is like, please come back home.
Yeah.
Nobody wants their children to hear that.
Things like this.
Right. And I don't eat meat because I feel like it's basically we are killing somebody to get the food, right? And I'm not questioning whoever eats meat. It's okay. It's your choice. Like, the world is made like that. The ecosystem is made like that. There are meat eaters in our world out there, right? So it is made like that. So it's fine. If you eat, it's okay. But do not question my choices on me not eating meat, right? So my family would definitely have called me back and I wouldn't have been here.
Yeah.
So imagine how much it would have affected me.
Yeah.
You know, like my entire career
Had
would be
there
different.
not been
Maybe
friends.
it would be better, maybe it would be bad, but like this is not where I would have been, right? So you need a thick skin.
Yes.
You need a thick skin.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
on that thought, thank you, Bikash, for sharing your wonderful story with us, and thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me. I listened to your previous podcast and I found the story very inspiring. But thank you for inviting me. You know, it was good to talk.
Thank
It
you.
was very good to talk to you guys.
Thank you
and
for going.
Thank you.
Thank you.